Good afternoon. I'm Ed Pozzuoli, president of Tripp Scott, and welcome to another one of our series of webcasts. Today we have the great honor to have Rick Perry, the governor of Texas, join us. Governor Perry, welcome.
Good to be with you, Ed. Thank you.
Governor Perry, people outside of Texas, what is it that you want them to know about you?
Well, the same thing that people inside of Texas do. After 14 years of being the governor, we have a record that's pretty substantial from the standpoint of job creation. And people like Rick Scott, the governor of Florida, they know what I'm all about. And every day I get up and think about how do I work to make the policies, the laws in the state of Texas more competitive so that people like you and millions of people just like you, men and women who are hardworking businessmen and women, get to keep more of what they work for. And how you make government work, I'm not against government. I just want government to be smaller. I'm a big believer that the bigger government is, the less your freedoms are.
Going back to your economic successes in Texas, what is the key to the success of driving 30% of the new jobs that have been created in the United States right in Texas?
I've heard people call it the Texas miracle.
Yeah.
It's not a miracle. A miracle is something you can't explain. I call it the Texas model, and it's four things. It's a tax policy that lets you keep more of your money, still delivers to the state the needed resources to do what the people of Texas, or in this case, Florida, want to get done. And then it's regulatory policy that is predictable and stable. Legal policy that doesn't allow for oversuing, right? And then accountable public schools, which basically say to job creators that the skilled workforce is going to be here, no matter what. You may be in the technology side of things, you may be in the construction side of things, or anything in between. That skilled workforce is there. That's the four things. Don't overtax, overregulate, overlitigate, and have a skilled workforce. You put those into place in any state, and it's going to be successful. That's what we've done. We've been predictable and stable with that for the last decade. People know it, they believe it, and they're either expanding or relocating to the state of Texas.
And that sounds a very familiar model to folks here in Florida with our governor, right?
Rick Scott has used Texas as a model for the last 4 years. Now listen, I've been the governor for 14 years, so
right.
I've got a leg up on him. Right. There's a reason that at this particular juncture, Texas is as competitive a state as there is in the nation. But Rick took a huge deficit, and he took policies that had become unpredictable, unstable, if you will, and he's put Florida back on a track. I'm not going to say they're going to bypass Texas, but they certainly are going to be up there where Texas is looking over their shoulder on a regular basis, wondering what Rick Scott's going to do, making Florida be even more competitive.
Now, given Rick Scott's landslide victory in Florida, we like to call it a landslide in Florida, and the rest of the two last election results, what do you make of those results? I mean, what's the message here? Well,
I think Florida is not unlike the United States in that they're split, but I see this as an opportunity to solidify the policies that Rick's put into place here in the last 4 years. And you get 2 and 4 years down the road with these policies where people really are comfortable that they're going to be able to keep more of what they work for. Right. Their future looks brighter. Their children's future looks brighter because we made college more affordable, more accessible in the state of Florida. At the end of this 8-year period of time that Rick Scott's going to have overseen the state and working with his legislature and the partnership that he's got there, I think the next time a Republican governor stands up and says, hey, we want you to look at us and to support the policies we've got in place, then literally will have a landslide victory at that particular point in time.
And what's the message nationally? I mean, the Republicans had a good night on election night. Now, we didn't win them all, but we won a lot of them, and we now control the Senate, and we've gained in the House, and we gained some key governorships as well across the country. What's the message to the newly Republican controlled Senate.
Yeah, this was not a message that we love you Republicans. This was a message of refuting the president's policies, refuting Washington's gridlock, and we're going to give you Republicans one more chance to govern. Don't blow it. So that's the message was clear. We really are disappointed with this president. We're really not supportive of his policies at all. And you Republicans have let us down in the past. We're going to give you an opportunity to govern. So, you know, whether it's opening up the XL pipeline and the other energy resources that we have and the jobs that are created and the security for America that will create, whether it's putting tax policy into place that sends message across the country that you can invest in expansion of your business, go hire those people, help create the economic boom that then adds to the energy side of things, and secure our border with Mexico. As I travel across the country, there's nothing that people are more passionate about than securing that border. Then we can have a conversation about immigration, but not until the border's secure. Republicans do those three things, and the American people will say, you know what, we made the right choice, you're leading, you're governing, and we will continue to support you.
Now, as governor of the state of Texas, you're on the front lines of the immigration issue. So how do we get beyond the platitudes between the two parties and really deal with both the issue of securitizing our border and effectuating meaningful immigration change?
Well, what I'm on the front line of is securing the border, and that has to be job one. I know the president would like to use an executive order to allow 5 million people to become citizens, basically an amnesty. That's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
It's bad public policy, and the American people are not for it. Now, I hope the president is wise enough to understand that from time to time you need to take a you need to take a step back, and you've been elected to lead. You haven't been chosen to dictate. And so this is a real issue about leadership. Listen to the people and then doing the will of the people. The will of the people in this country is to secure that border. We're really concerned about the safety of our communities. I mean, it's a big issue with the Hispanic population in Texas. They overwhelmingly support securing the border.
Right.
I mean, Greg Abbott, who will be replacing me as governor, I think he got 44% of the Hispanic vote talking about border security. So this message of securing the border and making our communities safe is a very powerful one, whether you live in Texas or whether you live in New Hampshire.
Right. So talk about New Hampshire. Greg Abbott now is the governor-elect in Texas, and in January he will ascend to be the governor. And so what does the future hold for Rick Perry?
Well, I'll make a decision on what our 2016 plans are, May, June timetable, and we're continuing to prepare for that. I'm not coy about it. I tell people that I'm doing the things that I need to do to prepare to be a legitimate, well-prepared candidate. My wife and I may sit down in April, May timeframe and decide it's not right for us, it's not right for the country. But if I decide not to run for the presidency, it won't be because I'm not prepared this time.
Well, I'll tell you what, this morning we had an opportunity to introduce you to some folks in Fort Lauderdale and South Florida, and the response was overwhelming. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah, certainly did. Thank
you.
I look forward to coming back to Florida often.
We'll look forward to having you again.
Matter of fact, Rick Scott already has my place picked out for me over in Destin.
He does. That's good. That's good. I'm sure he does.
He does. He does. We went over and did a fishing tournament together, and he was like, "Let me show you. You need to move over here."
That's right.
I was kind of like, Governor, I love Destin. I actually went to summer camp there at Eglin Air Force Base in the summer of 1971.
It's changed a little bit.
It has.
It has.
But I'll tell you what hadn't changed: those beautiful beaches at Fort Walton.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Magnificent.
Well, Governor, I want to thank you on behalf of everybody at Tripp Scott.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate your service.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
God bless you.